Hello everyone! Today we're going to edit in Canvas a picture of my backyard. Yes, this is my actual backyard. As you can see, it's camera footage. And I took a picture of it because, well, I figured it would probably be the best picture I could take, which is the one I could take on my actual phone. And I wanted to go through all the different aspects of Leonardo that would help me to edit this for whatever reason. In this case, I just wanted to play around. But we're going to go through in paint, out paint, as well as the sketch to image. I'm going to do some erasing and stuff like that. I don't think I'll be doing any masking because when I'm doing the sketching, it actually automatically masks. So let's go ahead. First thing I want to do is I want to get rid of this Wise logo. Here I have this big square that I usually am able to work with, but with the help of render density right down here, I can reduce it to a size that is, I think, more practical. Because if I were to put this over here, of course, you realize that, while I have a lot of space and it looks good, it really does take a lot more time in my estimation, and I can do what I need to do in a smaller area. So when we implement the render density, it will reduce it. Let me see, 2.5. It'll reduce it to something more manageable. As you can see right here, this fits perfectly. I can probably do a lot smaller, but I don't need to do it any smaller than that. It fits a lot better. So I'm going to enter my prompt. I've already entered my negative prompt, and I'm going to keep it in Stable Diffusion 2.5. I'm sorry, Stable Diffusion 2.5, I wish. Stable Diffusion 1.5. Let me go ahead and, I just wanted to see what would happen, because Stable Diffusion tends to be at 1.5 tends to be rather temperamental. And because now I have access, Leonardo has given us access in editing Canvas to all of the different models. We can even choose to select a custom model that we want. I'm going to use Stable Diffusion because it's an agnostic model. The others, they have Dream Shaper is more about, creating realism and anime and isometric fantasy. Oh, apparently they want to do something. Update later. And isometric fantasy is about, creating a special type of fantasy image. Stable Diffusion, I find here, it just takes a look at what's around it and does the best it can. It doesn't really have an agenda as to make it more photorealistic or to make it more anime or anything like that. So that's why I'm choosing Stable Diffusion. So let's go with 1.5 to see what happened. All right, so I want to get rid of this. So I'm going to erase it first and foremost. We did a nice erase there. And the prompt I'm going to use, let's go with backyard. With bush. Actually, let's go with bush. Fauna. Just see what would happen. I didn't want to give it anything more complicated, so let's take a look and see how this runs in Stable Diffusion 1.5. Again, Stable Diffusion always... Okay, this is actually pretty good. All right, let me bring this up a little bit more so we can take a look. And see what the actual image will give me. Okay, let's try that one more time. Yeah, this one's a dead end, not even a chance. This looks pretty good. Actually, that looks really good. I'm gonna actually accept this one. Okay. I am happy with it. This looks fantastic. Yeah, it looks almost exactly what my backyard looks like, that part of it anyway. So again, I said, Stable Diffusion just takes what it's given and works with it instead of implementing some special attributes such as, anime, realism, 3D graphics, isometric. So that's why I'm going to use it for this one. While it looks pretty good, I'm going to stick with 2.1 because I have a bad feeling. So I'm going to go with Stable Diffusion 2.1, even though Stable Diffusion 1.5 did a great job. Okay, next thing I want to do, and this is another thing I've realized, I wanted to bring to your attention. I just made a mistake and I wanted to just have it be a teachable moment. Whenever you're moving this box here, you need to have this select. However, if you're moving the entire picture, make sure that you have this hand, I guess they call it the pan, because take a look, it's now moved the image that I edited, or the part of the image that I edited, away from the actual to the picture. So you got to be careful about that. So let me go ahead and do an undo, and let me go to the pan, and let's move this over. All right, the next part of the image that I wanted to go over is I wanted to get rid of the state here. Let me go ahead. So for this one, I'm going to go with 1024. Oops. Yes, that's a much better. Yeah, I couldn't have done a 1024 512. So again, I've got this, so I'm going to reduce it a little bit because it does use a lot of space. And I still want to make sure that it gives me the room that I need. I think that's as small as I can go for this. But again, I can adjust it and I can make it smaller so that it kind of fits a little bit closer to what I want. In this case, I'm going to go with, let's see, natural dirt and stones. All right, so I'm actually I can do a mask on this, but like I said, I'm just gonna do an erase just to show that it does work that way. Okay, all right, let's go ahead and see what Stable Diffusion 2.1 has for me now. All right, that looks pretty good. It's a bit fuzzy, but it does seem to match it a little bit. The stones. Okay, yeah, the stones look a little better. It actually, whenever the other ones, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it looks like I've actually erased it. It looks like it has been erased, and that's why it looks fuzzy and it looks outlined and fuzzy. But the ones with the stones look pretty natural. And those stones, well, they could be there. I don't remember exactly. So I'm going to accept this one. Excellent. Fantastic. I like it. All right. Let me see what else I can work with. Okay. Yes. All right. This is what I also wanted to do. Actually, I'm going to do one more thing here because I see that because I had that here, the line. Let me see if I can reduce the snap a little bit. Yeah. Yeah, this part here, it has a little bit of I don't know if you guys can see it, but it does have a little bit of a line there that I think was because of the box. So I'm going to take the snap off on it. I can match it up with the end. Yeah, that should work. Snap back. Yeah, it has a little bit of a line here, and I think it was because of the box. So I'm actually going to move this a little bit. I'll just redo that. I'll probably just do quick mask. Oh, apparently I was doing mask after all. So let me just match it up here. Let's see what happens. Yeah, that mask was a little big, but let me see if it works the way I could. Actually works pretty well. It works pretty well. Yeah, that looks pretty good. All right, I'll accept this one. Cool. Okay, let me go ahead and move this over. Let me reduce the size. Yeah, I wanted to actually get rid of this line. I do have a clothesline in the background, in the backyard. Yes, I do. As well, we live in a place where that has lots of sun, and it just winds up being easier to handle putting the clothes outside. So for this particular one, I'm going to reduce the render density to make the box bigger so I can cover more space. See, I pretty much almost covers it. Let me see if I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. Okay. So I want to get rid of the line here. Let me go ahead and erase this line. It's just a clothesline. And let me bring it off a little bit long so we can encompass this. It's not much, but let's see what we can do here. I'll have to do it twice, but it won't be as long. So this, hold and put in, see. I'm gonna put in the backyard, the one with the backyard and bushes. I think that would probably be working, but let's see what happens. Oh, wow. So it's really good. We'll increase this space here so you guys can see it. Alright, so that's the first, a little bit. So that's the first rendering. So here's the second one. You can see that this one I don't like too much. It does look a little bit done. This one is okay. That one looks pretty good. But the first one looks pretty good as well. The first one kind of hit me as more authentic to my backyard. Okay. And now we're going to bring it over to the other side and finish the one with the line. Okay. Good. Okay, erase again. So we're going to erase. I'm actually going to make this eraser a little bit smaller. Come on, more. Great, that covers it. Awesome. And I'm gonna go ahead and generate same prompts. Okay, it looks fantastic. Let's see. First one looks pretty good. So does the second one. The fourth one I didn't like too much. It's a bit fuzzy. I think the first one is going to be the one I'm going to text, so I'm going to accept that. Thanks so much for your time. If you could like this video if you find it useful, it'll help me to figure out what kind of content you want to see. And then there's the YouTube algorithm thing. Yep, we all know how that goes, so thanks for your time, and let's get back. Okay, now we're going to talk about sketching within the image. So I wanted to actually put, I guess, a dog back here. And one of the ways that we do that is we have changed canvas mode. Let's go ahead and choose sketch to image. And that will give us, hold on a second. Let me bring this down a little bit. Okay, I'll do that. And then we go ahead and add this, click on this icon. Now, when working with this sketch icon, you want to make sure that the color you want the object to come out as is the color that you have here already. So in this case, I'm going to see if I can get like a brown dog. I think that's a good color, brown. That's good. And, oh, see, it's actually a pretty good color. Let me go ahead and get rid of that. And I'm gonna bring this back up. I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. Render density, I think that's a good, make it, actually let's go all the way small. That works. All right, now I'm going to make this a little bit, this is the pen right here, it's a little bit big for what I wanted. So I'm gonna go ahead and drop it down to, actually let's go down to, that's a pretty good, this is right, 16. All right, 16 is good. Let me move this over a little bit. I'm gonna put my dog right here. So I'm gonna call this is the dog's body. It's gonna be a pretty big dog. Head. It looks like a bear actually, probably. And I'm gonna drop this down to give it legs. You take this one, those legs are a little bit too close together. And give it a tail. A nice tail. Not my best work, but it's as good as I've got. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and change the prompt. So the prompt in this case is going to be brown dog, standing in the bushes. I'm going to add something about the lighting. Let's see, natural lighting, natural light and shadow according to the surrounding. I'm thinking that that would be appropriate. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and mirror in Stable Diffusion 2.1. Everything else is okay. Let's go ahead and see how this comes out. Is actually pretty good. That looks true to my little sketching there. Even better. It's a little small. Okay, I think I like him. I think I like that one. That looks pretty good. Let me move this over and bring the picture, and that looks pretty good. So you got a dog in the distance there. Because I don't have a brown dog like this, but I have a bunch of dogs anyway. But let me go ahead and sketch. This one is going to be closer to one that I do have, which is kind of like a little off-white. Yeah, that's about right. Off-white. So I'm going to do, okay. Let's go right here. So we got the dog's head right here. Okay. Look at it very carefully. It looks like Scooby-Doo. At least I like to think it does. Okay. Okay, I get that. ears. It's like a peace sign. It's probably the best peace sign I've ever drawn on anything, and it's not even what it's supposed to be. Alright, let's get that little tail. Okay. Alright. So in this case, we have white dog. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to expand this a little bit. Okay, so we'll bring this one, we'll expand it a little bit. Bring it more like, yes, that's more like it. Get a little bit, the density a little bit smaller. Is that too small? Oh no, it's actually pretty good. Okay, so we have white dog, white puppy, sitting on its haunches on the ground, dirt ground, looking at the brown dog. Okay, I wanted to integrate the previous, hold on a second. Yeah, I want to integrate the previous rendering to see if it actually would take it in consideration. I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Leonardo's usually pretty good about that. Let's go ahead. And I put natural lighting, and it actually, the lighting here is pretty good. I know I'm not a an expert in lighting, but this is pretty good. Generate. Okay. Not quite sure that. Oh, so I got two puppies. Actually pretty good. Looks like a cat though from the back. That kind of looks like one of my dogs. Okay, I'll accept that one. Alright, and there you have it. Okay, we actually got rid of a logo here, got rid of some, some of the writing here. I got rid of my clothesline, added a dog in the distance, and another one in the yard. Of course, I am not someone who has, an artistic eye necessarily, or a photographic eye. So when you take a look at this, you can tell that it has been, it's been put in. But I guess somebody with that kind of sensitivity to how the lights and the shadow play would definitely be able to come up with a prompt that would make it look like it was a more natural integration into the picture. And of course, the same thing goes with this figure right here. But the idea is that you can edit your photographs in Leonardo's canvas. Using, of course, erase, mask, and the sketched image, which I found to be an absolutely fantastic addition to this canvas. Of course, canvas mode, you can change that at will whenever you want to. But like I said, the reason why I chose to use Stable Diffusion instead of any of the other models is because Stable Diffusion seems agnostic to me, so I wouldn't be putting any like 3D rendering into an image that I wanted to look as natural as possible. So Stable Diffusion just takes a look at what's surrounding and then comes up with the best scenario. So I hope you guys have fun with this. Of course, use your own photographs. Please use your own photographs and your own renderings, or at least renderings that you have permission to. Otherwise, it could wind up being a legal issue. So, use your own photographs, play around with it, and see what you come up with. If you have any questions, any other suggestions, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next video.